Hello everyone, my name is Anissa. I'm the founder of Top Health Equine Partners, and I'm helping riders and their horses to perform at their peak level and have fun and feel great while doing so. In this video I would like to introduce myself a little bit, and I would also like to show you some tests to evaluate the evenness in your body and maybe find out if there are any restrictions that could affect your riding, and I would also like to show you how to evaluate your horse. But first of all, let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm a craniosacral practitioner for people and their animals. I'm currently in a mentoring program to become a certified practitioner in the Masterson method, integrated equine performance bodywork. I have training in horse massage, the Chinese 5-element diet, and various holistic methods. And I have been a horse owner for the majority of my life. I got my first mare when I was about 11 years old, and she's still with me, by the way. And as a youth I showed in raid classes at regional shows, but for the last 10 years I get more and more drawn into the world of reining. So I know from my own experiences and the experience of my clients, the challenges that you face as a competitive rider, even though I've turned into more or less a recreational rider now. So I remember when I got first introduced into the performance horse training and competition world, there were all those questions that I had. What could I do to become better, besides my riding? And what I was doing really not harmful to my horse? And what should I do? What should I not do? What should I not do at all? And it was really hard and, a long journey to find answers to all those questions. Because, I asked my trainers and they knew about the riding, the technical stuff. Then, if you talk to your veterinarians or equine therapists, they often know how to help you with horse body issues. Like my own therapist, they could help me feel better, but it was hard for them to relate my physical challenges with my riding performance. So that's why now that I'm considered a health expert myself, in the last 5 years I focused on building that whole picture for my clients, helping riders understand how their own bodies affect their horses and help them to take better care of their horses, take more responsibility, and even tell them what indeed can be severely harmful to the horses and even to themselves. So stuff that nobody usually tells you. So that much about me. I have had clients all over the world, treating clients in Europe as well as overseas, and accompanying some of them to great successes. And I also like to work with rookie riders, that are eager to learn, that want to get forward in their riding and, deepen the relationship to the horses. So much about me. I think now you know everything you need to know, and let's get started with the first exercise. Let's see that if maybe one of your hip joints is the blocking obstacle for your horse to be smooth in its side passing. All we need to do right now is simply sit on the floor. So when you sit on the floor, ideally in comfortable pants, those pants are stretchy and I should be fine in them, bring the soles of your feet together in front of you and let your knees drop as low to the floor as possible. So as you can see, my left knee does not drop as low as my right knee. That's because my left hip joint is more blocked than my right hip joint and does not open up that much. So how is this showing in my riding? It's harder for my horse to side pass to the left side, and he has a tendency to push out of his left lead circles, but that's actually not his problem. It's me affecting him when I'm riding him, because my left hip joint does not open up that much. I'm always slightly pushing into his left side when I'm riding him. Maybe some of you will find that the closest they can get to the ground with their knees is like this. Well, then this evaluation exercise is even a nice stretching exercise for yourself. Whenever you can, sit like this and try to relax your muscles and ligaments around your hip joints to help them open up a little more. And over time, it will not happen overnight, you will see that it will be easier for yourself to drop your knees to the ground. Another great and easy evaluation exercise is a so-called scales test. And all you need are 2 scales, 2 bathroom scales, that should be the same height, and you simply step onto them with each foot on one scale, then fixate a point in front of you so you stand totally still, and ideally have a helper read those scales for you so you don't have to look down, which would make your weight shift a little. Most of you will find that there's a difference between those two scales, like one side of your body seems to be heavier than the other. Well, this is because you're simply bearing more weight on this certain one side of your body. I once had a client in my practice and we did this scales test, and it turned out she had a difference of 15 pounds. Like her left side was 15 pounds heavier than her right side. And of course this affected her horse enormously. So how will this be mirrored by your horse? Again, your horse might push in or out of its circles, might push to one side when running down on a straight line, might do crooked sliding stops, and especially young horses might have the problem to pick up a certain lead. I advise you, if you find this kind of unevenness in your body, to do some yoga or Pilates. Those are great for your body to balance it again. And after a while, like a month or two, after doing yoga or Pilates exercises on a regular basis, simply come back to your scales and compare the results to your first test. That's why I like to keep track of them and write them down. So maybe in these last two exercises, some of you have found that one hip joint is really blocked and that there's a 20-pound difference in weight distribution, and you think to yourself, so what? I'm still an awesome rider. And that might be true. But why spend all the time training your horse to compensate for your weaknesses? And why make it so hard for both of you? I guarantee you, the more of a balanced rider you are, the easier it will be for your horse to do exactly what you ask from it. And of course, it will be healthier for your joints, ligaments and muscles too if you don't overuse them on one side of your body. The truth is, many horses have issues with unevenness and restrictions too. But unfortunately, not a lot of riders think about these problems and they have no idea how to recognize them. Though it's so easy. All you need is a level surface for your horse to stand on, a couple of carrots and a piece of chalk. To see if your horse is restricted in moving his head and neck, you can simply do carrot stretches. Ask your horse to come around to its shoulder to get the carrot and keep his head as vertical as possible while doing so. If it is twisting and turning his head into a flat position, just like in this picture, it's only bending in the pole and not in its neck. And if your horse is always stepping away, you can position it next to a wall, but this already is a sign that it's hard for it to bend its neck. See how far your horse can come to the side and then do the other side to compare. The more difference you find between the two sides of your horse, the bigger the difference will be in its performance, especially in turns. Like if your horse cannot turn its head and neck to one side, it will also have a big problem to turn smoothly to the side. So those carrot stretches are not only a great evaluation tool, they're also a nice stretching exercise that you can do on a regular basis. I still highly recommend you call your veterinarian, equine therapist or body worker to help your horse get rid of those restrictions as soon as possible. And to see how even your horse's shoulders are, you can simply take a piece of chalk and draw a line onto your horse's side right where the shoulder blade ends. Make sure your horse stands squarely with his front legs, and then draw a vertical line from the back of the shoulder blade to the top of the spine. Do this on both sides and then see if those lines meet at the withers or if they're 1 or 2 or even more inches apart. The shoulder, which is set more forward, will likely also be set lower and again make it harder for your horse to turn into this direction. In this picture, as you can see, our demo horse is pretty even in his shoulders, and he really is a symmetric performer. Because the bigger the difference, the more difficult it is for your horse to turn smoothly and easily to both directions, and the bigger the difference, the more I want to encourage you to seek professional help so your horse will stay sound and happy and maybe even overcome those performance problems. Of course, ideally, you work on yourself and your horse so you both don't influence each other with your crookedness. And as you can see, it's really easy to evaluate your own and your horse's symmetry. So to gain more insight on why those turnarounds to the left don't work out that well, or why it's so hard to hit the center mark on your left lead circles. And please, simply check yourself and your horse for restrictions before trying to fix such problems through training alone. And when you recognize a physical problem in yourself or your horse, it's not the end of the world. It simply means that something needs some special attention, like body work for your horse or a yoga class for yourself. I decided to build my products and programs especially for the Western performance riders and their favorite breeds, because I want to shorten the learning curve for those that ask the same questions as I once did and that want to achieve their goals with more ease and joy for themselves and their horses. So click the button that says free videos and get instant free access to stuff that teaches you more about my favorite topics like horse and rider health, connection, and performance optimization. And by entering your name and email, you will also get subscribed to my newsletter, so I can let you know whenever I bring out new stuff, new videos, or I stumble upon something that I can think will serve you. And thanks for watching and getting to know me a little bit. Get access to your free stuff, and I hope I can serve you in the future and help you get the most success and joy out of the time with your horse. So until then, enjoy your ride.